Alright, check it out, YouTube. I'm warning you. You're not listening. But at least I can tell myself that I tried to warn you. What is up with these stress tests? What the hell is a stress test exactly on a bank? Mr. Coffee makes a coffee maker, and it goes to this place called Underwriters Laboratory, where they put a stress test on it. Like, they run it for 17 days or something, and then the damn thing burns up, and they package it up and send it back to Mr. Coffee and says, hey, this ain't strong enough, Mr. Coffee. You gotta make another one. You gotta make one that lasts 18 days or more. What if somebody goes on vacation to Mexico and gets kidnapped, and, they leave their coffee maker running in their apartment in Cincinnati, and, we don't want their apartment building burning down because they got kidnapped in Mexico, so, you gotta make a better coffee maker. And so Mr. Coffee tries to make a coffee maker that lasts 18 days or more, in the on position. You got your crash test dummies, your cars, they slam a car into a wall at 20 miles an hour and 25 and 30 and 40, and they see how messed up the car gets, and they see how messed up the crash test dummies get, right? And then they tell you that you need to wear your seatbelt. So what are they doing to the banks to stress them out? One can only guess. I bet you the printing of all the money has something to do with it. Forcing the banks during the 90s to lend people money that had no way of paying it back, that was part of a stress test. See, the stress tests, in my mind, I theorize, have been going on for years. Now, finally, they've given them a name. Bernanke and them people couldn't figure out what to call them. Should we call it, how many straws can you put on a camel's back? Or how many fake dollars can you put in a camel's bank? How much money can you make them loan out? How much torque can we apply to this leverage? Let's see if these banks are going to go with, like, one real dollar is capable of handling how much borrowed money. How many times can we lend this money over and over and over again and make them do it until they break? And then you take them over because you're going to buy them out. Geithner's buying them out with the fake money that they printed that they're telling the banks to loan them so that they can end up being the borrower and the lender and thus cancel the debt out and nationalize the banks, and they will own everything. Hence, meanwhile, the commercial real estate sector, I believe, as people lose jobs, will be an indicator of business leveling off and declining in all kinds of sectors, whether it's manufacturing or repairs, construction, automotive. GM's shutting down for 9 weeks this summer. I mean, I have a friend who worked for GM who says that they always close for a few weeks during the summer and during the Christmas holiday season. So he doesn't think it's a big deal. But meanwhile, in the last few years, GM's been shutting down plants. They shut down the Firebird and Camaro plant. They shut down everything that Buick makes. They shut down everything Oldsmobile makes. This is over the last few years. Now, Barack Obama, the automotive engineer extraordinaire, the man who knows everything, sent by the creator himself to save us from our capitalist sins, come up with some, shall we say, revolutionary new designs in the automotive industry, especially dealing with the powering of such an automobile. That's all going downhill anyway. And now, the whole GM situation where they're bailing them out, yet they're closing up shop. So business is still going down, in spite of the fact that they've closed down all these plants for years, like I was referring to, and then they're being bailed out by the Omen in their interests of getting into the car business. You want to be a car salesman or you want to be president? Make up your mind. He wants to be both because he's all things to all people. GM. Workers aren't working. And so other industries connected to that, workers are not working. Their business is leveling off. And hence, people don't have money to spend on other stuff. So those businesses close. Everything from furniture to restaurants, name it. Cake decorating. So, shopping malls, strips, martial arts. If you don't have a job, how are you going to send your kid to karate classes? How are you going to send the old lady to yoga, Pilates? Yeah, you're going to have money to order out for pizza? You're going to be headed for a mass emptying out of commercial real estate property being rented by businesses and companies. The exit of these people from these properties is going to result in the owners, the mortgage payers of those properties, not being able to pay the mortgage. The commercial property will be foreclosed upon. And I believe that this will happen at a much higher rate than these measly piddly residential foreclosures, which will still continue to proliferate. So, being that the government is taking over the banks, putting this stress test on them, trying to break them, okay? That's the point of these stress tests, to stress them till they break, right? Just like I said to you before with Mr. Coffee and the cars and the crash test dummies, the purpose of the stress test is to determine the breaking point by pushing the limit, pushing the envelope, so to speak. When you keep on stressing out a bank and the bank finally breaks, what then? Well, then you're going to have to move in and take over. That's what Geithner's waiting for. That's what he's licking his chops at, man. Stress them out, break them. Just break them, man, and then move in and say, oh, man, you guys can't be a bank. You're not, you guys, what's wrong with you? We're moving in. We're the government. We know everything. We're going to take over. And mix that in with the residential and commercial property foreclosures that are about to occur at a freaking alarming number, okay? Because these boys, the Omen, have set this in motion for years. Bernanke and Geithner, et al. Axelrod. I wouldn't count Warren Buffett out of this. It's part of something that was drawn up by George Soros over the years. Bill Bernanke, if not together, then separately, they've been theorizing on this. So the properties are going to be foreclosed on, and the bank being took over by the government. Now the government will own the bank, and the government will own the property. Government is moving in on owning everything, and you are not going to have jack shit. But don't listen to me. What the fuck do I know?